Sounds good. Well, of course, as we get older, our metabolism starts to slow down. It's not easy to deal with, but lifestyle habits like stress and diet can also wreak havoc on your metabolism. But there are ways that you can jumpstart a sluggish metabolism just in time for the holiday season, which is always a good thing as well. Our fitness expert, Nick Parker, here to join us more to talk about that. Nick, always good to see you.
Hey, good to see you.
You know, this is one of the harder things for me getting older is when your metabolism slows down.
Yeah.
You just can't do the same things.
Yeah, that's true. I want to talk to you about a couple different things that happen. One of them is our central nervous system. This is actually really fascinating. It has two branches. You have the parasympathetic and the sympathetic branch. You can think of the parasympathetic branch as the peace and the sympathetic branch as the stress. Well, what happens is when you're running around at breakneck speeds all day, 100 miles an hour, you have a lot of anxiety going on.
Most of us are.
Right, exactly. A lot of anxiety. Your to-do list is longer than your day. What happens is you engage that branch, the stress branch of the central nervous system, and then it increases your stress hormones, shortness of breath, you breathe shallow, your heart rate goes up, and your hormones go absolutely haywire and out of whack. So then you don't sleep as well, it slows down your digestive system, and it creates a sluggish metabolism, which is a big problem.
It just feeds on that.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll talk about how to solve that in a second. The second major thing that happens is our precious commodity of muscle tissue. There's three things that I want to point out. One is that between the ages of 20 and 60 years old, you lose in sedentary adults about 30% of your lean muscle tissue, which becomes a problem. The second thing is between that age, over about 4 decades, I would say, not only do you lose that, but you get a 30% decrease in the number of calories that you burn every single day. And that's a pretty significant decrease. There was an interesting study done, a biopsy done on some 70-year-olds, adults that had lived a sedentary lifestyle, and they found that they were actually missing mitochondria in the cell of the muscle tissue, which is basically the cellular powerhouse that converts fuel into energy. So if you don't have that, it's rendered inactive.
And they're missing that.
Yeah, it's rendered inactive, and you're not going to metabolize anything. So there's three problems there. You're losing muscle. The muscle you have is 30% less efficient, and some of it's completely inactive. So how do we combat all this, right?
Exactly.
All right, let me give you 3 quick tips. The first one, you got to reduce yourself stress-wise. If you're really having a lot of anxiety and stress throughout the day, what you need to do is take a break and take some time out for yourself throughout the day. Do some reading, slow your mind down, right? And do maybe some yoga, some Pilates, workout, to go exercise. Do something that's going to help you slow down, and do that every day, and you'll be much more efficient throughout the day. You won't have the mood swings, you'll sleep better, and it'll increase your metabolism back to normal speeds. Okay, so that's number one. Number 2 is extremely important, and for you listening at home, I can't emphasize this enough. You have to do this. Resistance train, resistance train, resistance train. If you don't put your muscle under tension, you're not only going to lose muscle, but you're going to lose the efficiency at which that muscle converts fuel into energy over time. And so therefore, your metabolism will become extremely sluggish over time. So the best thing to do is to do exercises like you can see here. That would be considered a open chain exercise.
How much, though? I mean, when people...
Well, I would recommend doing closed chain exercises like squats, lunges, pull-ups, push-ups, things like that where your body's moving the weight as often as you can, at least minimum of 3 days a week.
Okay.
Try for 4. 3 days a week is great. 5 days a week is awesome, but you got to do it. Okay? And then step number 3 is stop feeling guilty over the foods that you shouldn't be eating, right? So I'm not saying eat the foods that you shouldn't be eating. My advice is don't eat it in the first place, because when you feel guilty about
the guilt gets you.
It does. When you feel guilty about it, what are you doing? You're activating the sympathetic nervous system on top of already eating. So you're eating the wrong food, that's causing a problem, and then you're feeling guilty and stressed about it, and that's causing a problem. So the best thing to do is plan when you're going to eat the foods that you shouldn't be eating as a treat, so that way you don't feel guilty about it. You can do it guilt-free, and then throughout the rest of the week, spend your time eating foods you should be eating.
That's a great idea, because we've all been there before, whether it's a huge buffet or a dessert, you feel guilty.
Exactly. So you don't want to add the guilt, because then you're paying the piper twice, and we don't want to pay the piper twice.
No, we
right?
don't.
So plan ahead and you'll do much better.
All right.